Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, as I continue the Superman and Batman movie reviews, continuing looking at the original four Superman films, now here's my review of Superman 2. Yeah, just like the first one, this is a pretty good movie right here. Yeah. I can't quite say it's as good as the first one, but it is still a really enjoyable film. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I really do like it. I like how it really is a continuation from the first movie. Yeah, you just about have everybody from the original returning for the most part. Yeah, there's still Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman, there's Margaret Kidder, there's Jackie Cooper, and yeah, there's still like a lot of other actors from the first movie returning for this. And yeah, they all do pretty good in this movie. Yeah, yeah, like I said, it's a really good movie. This one has more like movie gives us like a better connection with Clark and Lois in this movie. Yeah, they're like a lot closer in this movie than they were in the first. Yeah, they're like yeah, they're like you could say I guess they fall in love with each other in this movie for the most part until like the end of it. Yeah, this movie you have like Lois figuring out that Clark is Superman. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, the movie, like I said, is pretty good. Although it does like have some really stupid things about it. Some of the stupidest in the Superman movies, like Nostalgia Critic said. Yeah, I mean, this has like the two different scenes with those idiot mothers. And you also have the kiss at the end of the movie where Clark or makes Lois forget that he ever was Superman, which absolutely doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, movie does have a few stupid moments, but yeah, the good in this movie definitely outdoes them. I mean, yeah, the movie is still really good. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, the movie kind of has an interesting story about the production of it. Because yeah, when the movie began production, like Richard Donner, who was director for the first movie, he's like started or did as director when this movie began production. But during the production, like he got just like booted off, and yeah, then Richard Lester took over the production and for directing the movie. And then like several years after this movie was released, they re-released a re-edit of the film that was entitled the Richard Donner Cut. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not gonna like go into that. I'm not gonna make a video about that version because yeah, I mean, I really just feel like it's not worth just rewatching the same movie just as a different version. I mean, it would be like when I did my Star Wars reviews. It'd be like me making reviews for the original versions of the original trilogy, and then going back and rewatching all the new versions with all the changes and the special editions. Yeah, I mean, it really is not like yeah, it's pretty much a waste of time. So yeah, I'm not gonna make a video about the Richard Donner cut, but yeah. So yeah, a lot of this movie, well, not a lot. I mean, I don't know how much, but yeah, there was some of this movie that was changed after Richard Lester took over the direction of this movie. But yeah, Richard Lester didn't ruin this movie. I mean, he still did a great job directing this movie, and yeah, the movie, like I said, it is really enjoyable. Yeah, not quite as good as the first, but yeah, a lot of sequels aren't as good as the first, but yeah, still a really enjoyable movie. Yeah. This movie also has my favorite Superman movie poster. I mean, yeah, it's kind of similar to the one you see right here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you just have it's kind of a similar poster to the first movies, but it's not entirely the same. Like you still have Superman flying over the city, but yeah, you have his both of his arms out. Yeah, and you see like the all the buildings of New York with behind him with in the sky and with the water at the bottom. I mean, it's just like it's a good portrait of New York with Superman flying through it. Yeah, I mean, I really do like this poster for the movie, and yeah, I would say that this is my favorite Superman movie poster. So yeah, I do think that this is an overall good movie. I'd give this probably 3.25 stars out of 4. Yeah, 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 I really did like it. Yeah, in this movie you have like the escape of Zod, Ursa, and Nan, who were the criminals that Jor-El had sentenced into the Phantom Zone at the beginning of the first movie. And yeah, they end up escaping from it in this movie, and then they fly down to Earth, and yeah, they're just looking for revenge on Superman, who was obviously Jor-El's son, and they want to destroy him. And yeah, Lex Luthor, he escapes from prison, and yeah, he makes an alliance with them to take down Superman, and they'll take over the world. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah, I do like that you have like the 3 villains in this movie that Superman has to battle. Well, technically 4, because yeah, there's the Kryptonian, there's the yeah all the Kryptonian trio, and then Lex Luthor. Yeah, so yeah, 4 villains in this movie, and they're all like real interesting villains, and yeah, it's just awesome to see Superman battle 4 different villains in this. So yeah, all right, yeah, so yeah, let me just get right into it. All right, so the movie opens up with like kind of flashbacks from the first film as the opening credits its roll in space. And yeah, I actually do like the opening for this better than the first movie. I mean, I just think that the credits in space are like have a better effect in this movie than they did in the first. In the first, you're just like see just stars in space as the credits just either zoomed in or zoomed out. And here it's done better. Like you don't just see the credits like zoom in or out. They like move around, like they come around as like the flashbacks from the first movie play. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, it shows General Zod, Ursa, and Nan in the Phantom Zone. And then at the Daily Planet, and that Mr. White is telling Clark that Lois is in Paris and that there's a terrorist is just attacked there. And yeah, then Clark rushes over as Superman to Paris to stop the terrorists. Yes, and then yeah, it cuts to Paris and it shows the terrorists just in the Eiffel Tower. And yeah, it shows Lois is also there, and then yeah, she ends up in the tower. We're in yeah, she ends up like in a hydrogen bomb that the terrorists planted into the tower. And then Superman eventually arrived, and yeah, he then stopped all the terrorists and saved Lois. And then Superman then and launched the bomb into space, which then and the bomb detonated, and then the Phantom Zone was near the Earth, and then the bomb shattered the Phantom Zone, and it freed Zod, Ursa, and Nan. Yeah, and yeah, and then they find that they have superpowers also, just like Clark did. And then yeah, they powers were granted by actual from the Earth's sun. Yeah, yeah. And then it showed Luthor and Otis is in prison after Superman turned them in at the end of the first movie. And then yeah, Luthor is trying to escape from the prison, and then he eventually does escape with the help of Eve and Otis. Yeah, and yeah, Luthor ended up escaping with Eve, but Otis was left behind. And yeah, yeah. And then Zod, Ursa, and Nan eventually arrive on the moon, and they attack some astronauts that were on the moon. And then yeah, they're hearing some transmissions to the astronauts from NASA. And then they hear the hear NASA talking about the capital city of planet Huston. And then yeah, the three of them mistook the town of East Huston, Idaho, for the planet that the NASA was talking about. And so they head down to Earth into East Hudson, Idaho, and then yeah, they end up like yeah, they just wreak havoc in the town, and yeah, they attack a lot of just innocent bystanders, yeah. And then while that's going on Clark and Lois are then sent to the Daily Planet, are sent by the Daily Planet down to Niagara Falls. Well, yeah, and then it shows at one point like Lois is telling Clark to clean his glasses, and then Clark, like, because he doesn't want to reveal himself as Superman, he tries to like clean them all, keeping them on. And then Lois took Clark's glasses off as she cleaned them, but she didn't actually look at his face, and I'm totally exposed, and nobody saw. I mean, I talked about this in my Superman 1 review. Can't anybody notice him? I mean, just like Nostalgia Critic said, I mean, are the glasses really not that great in disguise? And even when the glasses are off, nobody even sees him. Yeah, and anyway, yeah. And then it shows the idiot boy that's playing on the rails at Niagara Falls. And then, yeah, his mom first pulls him off, but then he goes on a second time. And then, yeah, Clark, and then volunteers to get Lois some food. And then as he walks off, the boy then falls off the rails and down on Niagara Falls. And then, yeah, yeah. Then Clark rushed over as Superman and he saved the boy. And then afterwards, Lois was starting to become suspicious of Clark and Superman being the same person, since Clark never seemed to be around when Superman appeared. Yeah, yeah. And then, yeah. Then Luthor and Eve eventually worked their way up to the Arctic, and they infiltrated the Fortress of Solitude from the first movie. And then Luthor and Eve learn more about Superman's connection to Jor-El, Zod, and the Kryptonians. And then yeah, then he figured out about it, and yeah, he knew how he could take Superman down. And then yeah, he would eventually tell the Kryptonian trio about it. Yeah, and then as Lois is trying to find out if Clark really is Superman, he's trying to tell him to admit he is, and yeah, she decided to put her life on the line to prove it. Then she fell into a river, and yeah, she said that if Clark really is Superman, the Superman would come and save her. Avery, yeah, but Clark was able to actually save Lois without actually revealing that he was Superman. Yeah, he used his heat vision to knock a branch into the river for Lois to grab and stop from drowning. And then Lois then thought that she was wrong. But then later that night, in their hotel, well, Clark accidentally like tripped and fell into the fireplace, but he didn't have any burns afterwards. Burns, burns when he tried to get Lois's hairbrush, and then then Clark then just he had to admit that he was Superman. And yeah. And after it was revealed that Clark was Superman to Lois, he then flew her to his fortress. Yeah. And yeah, he showed her everything that he had, uh, the energy crystals, and yeah, it then showed that Superman made contact with his Kryptonian parents. And he spoke with his mother, Laura. Yeah. Then Clark was, well, Superman was saying that he loves Lois and he wishes to spend his life with her. Yeah. And then he locked himself in a crystal chamber in the fortress, or that exposed him to red sunlight, and it just removed all of his Kryptonian powers, and yeah, he just became all human. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then yeah, it then showed like Clark and Lois like getting closer as a couple, but then as once they came to a diner, or Clark got into a fight with a truck driver, and yeah, the driver named Rocky, he beat Clark up really easily. And as that was going on, then the uh, Zod, Ursa, and Nan, sorry, not Nod, Nan, yeah, Nan. He, they ended up traveling to the White House in Washington D.C. And then yeah, they ambushed the president and forced him to kneel before Zod. And it was all taking place during a international broadcast on TV, and yeah, that was in the diner. Yeah, and then the president was pleading for Superman to save the Earth. Earth, Earth, yeah. And as then Zod then just demanded that Superman and to kneel before him also. Yeah, and after Clark and Lois saw that Clark realized that Zod couldn't be stopped by humanity, and he decided to reverse the transformation of losing his powers and return to the fortress and regain them. Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, then Luther went to uh, the the Kryptonian trio. Oh, and yeah, he was telling them about Superman and that he is the son of Jor-El. Oh, and yeah, he offered to lead them to Superman, and but in exchange, Lex Luthor wanted control of Australia, and Zod, Ursa, and Nun formed an alliance with Luthor, and yeah, then they went into the Daily Planet. Yeah, and yeah, they were ambushing a lot of the employees there, including Lois. And then Superman eventually arrived, and yeah, uh, he battled Zod, Ursa, and Nun, and in Metropolis. Yeah, and yeah, then Zod realized that Superman's weakness was actually protecting and the people of the city, and so yeah, he threatened and various bystanders of the city, including like the very top of the Empire State Building fell down, and it was coming towards it was falling down towards a mother and her baby child. And yeah, this is the other stupid mother. I mean, she was just standing there. I mean, she could have just ran out of the way, but instead she just stood there and was just screaming at it and was just like hovering over her baby in protection. I mean, seriously, she's just so stupid. I mean, she could have just ran out of the way and would have been safe. Yeah, but yeah, Superman was able, well, to stop the piece of the building from falling on her. Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, Superman realized that the only way he'd be able to stop Zod and the Kryptonians and to lure them into his fortress. So yeah, Superman flew off, and yeah, Zod, Ursa, and gave chase to him. him, and yeah, they had Luthor and Lois with them. Yeah, yeah, and then well, yeah, once they arrived at the fortress, just they were gonna go after Superman, but then yeah, Superman had a bunch of holograms of himself all over the fortress, and then yeah, Zod, Ursa, and Nun, and tried to go after him and all the holograms, but well, with every hologram they just ended up going right through him, and then they eventually caught the real one, and yeah, they were gonna stop Superman, but then, and yeah, and as that was going on, Zod, Zod decided that Luthor outlived his usefulness, and yeah, he decided that he was gonna kill both Superman and Luthor. And yeah, Superman was trying to convince Luthor to get the three Kryptonians into the crystal chamber so they would get his power like he did. But yeah, Luthor wanted to like still be in Zod's favor. So yeah, he told the Kryptonians what the chamber secret was, and yeah, Zod then and made Superman get into the chamber, and then yeah, it was activated. And it seemed that Superman had lost his powers again, and then Zod ordered him to kneel before him again, and yeah, Superman did. But then as Zod extended his hand, Superman grabbed it, and Superman was just squeezing it, and then yeah, Zod was just writhing out in pain, and yeah, then Zod realized that Superman actually reconfigured the structure of the chamber, and it had actually exposed him and Nun and Ursa to the red sunlight that took away Superman's powers, and yeah, Superman was actually protected from it this time, and then yeah, he easily took out all three of them. Yeah, Superman knocked Nun and Zod into the pit, and then Lois then knocked Ursa down to the pit, and then yeah, Superman then flew back to civilization with Luthor and Lois, and yeah, he returned Luthor back to prison and took Lois home. Yeah. And then yeah, then we have the ending of the movie that takes place the following day in the Daily Planet. And yeah, Lois was upset about knowing Clark's secret and not being able to be open to her about how true feelings that he was Superman. And then somehow Clark then kissed Lois, and that somehow erased all memory from her of him being Superman, which I don't even know how that worked, and I really don't know why Clark doesn't use this more often. I mean, like Nostalgia Critic said in his top 11 dumbest Superman moments, I mean, you could technically kind of like kiss Lex Luthor and make him forget about everything. I mean, like you said, it would be weird, but I mean, it would still he'd still be able to save a lot of people. So yeah, I mean, this kiss really makes no sense. Yeah, and then later on, Clark then went back to the diner with Rocky again, and then they had another fight, but yeah, this time Clark easily beat him up. And then Superman, I should say, then replaced the American flag on top of the White House to restore Zod's damages to the city. Yeah. And then he promised the president to never let him down again, and yeah, he flew off just like in the first movie, and that's how it ended. So yeah, 3.25 stars out of 4. Yeah, like I said, not quite as good as the first movie, but still a very enjoyable movie. Alright, so that does it for my review of Superman 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and yeah, next up is where things start to get bad in the Superman movies. Alright, but yeah, anyway. Alright, so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.